Is that you?
Oh, that's me. Oh, it's Graham.
We had called Graham. Graham's not with us today. This is the first episode we've done in a long time without a producer. The producer's chair is naked and empty.
Hi,
and
Graham.
So
We don't have to hit anything on the Roadcaster, right?
Nope, no.
Okay.
You record everything through GarageBand.
Oh, okay, perfect. That's what we got going. Well, you're now part of the podcast.
yeah, you're in.
All right, we'll keep going. Thank you, Graham.
See ya.
Okay, bye.
He will edit himself out. Or not.
Past the fire, past the sounds. Moonshine through the clouds. Saddle up, 'cause there's no stopping me now.
Good day and welcome to another exciting episode.
Living well together.
Big life in a small town.
Yes.
We are,
Here
well, actually we're at
with
the
a
end of
special
a
guest.
super busy day, right? We just finished a busy
Yeah.
day in the office, but our guest today was part of the office flow, so to speak. So today we have chiropractic student intern extraordinaire, Andrew Shepard.
Woo!
Yeah.
Was that a good intro?
Well, I wouldn't say extraordinaire.
Oh yeah.
Probably going a little
Why
too far.
not?
Well, because we
can say
only
that,
let the
yeah.
extraordinaire people in. Like if you were not extraordinaire, you would not have received the invitation.
So I'm going to
Fair
put you
enough.
on the spot because this isn't part of your notes. But what did you think about the day? Like, what was the highlight?
Oh, that's horrible. Don't ask him that.
No?
Ooh.
Was there a highlight?
There's multiple. It's just
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that takes time to like process a
Okay,
day.
yeah.
To actually have
He's
a
highly
response.
analytical.
Right. Okay.
Right.
No,
So
I
you're not going
totally
to get an
that.
emotional response right out of the gate.
No, but there were probably a lot of things that you could take from the clinic because you just told me that you're in clinic now and you're actually taking care of people other than students, right? And so you got to see that in action here too. Yeah. Does it make a difference?
It's a lot of similarities. Just taking care of people, you see that they're just taking care of themselves can actually like make a difference,
Yeah.
and you see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just really cool to see that too.
So a day in the clinic, just kind of watching, because in a year-ish, you'll be out of school, you'll be doing your thing. And I want to rewind a
year?
little. Yeah, he's got about a year.
Exciting.
December of next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the goal is to create some takeaways for you. And I know you'll need a minute to process any takeaways from the day. But let's go back in time. I want to talk about where you came up, where you grew up, and a little bit about your background, and then a little bit about how you even got to chiropractic school, why chiropractic. And so we'll go from there. Where's home for you?
Home is in New Hampshire, so it's just a small town called Newbury.
What's the state motto of New Hampshire? I know this, by the way.
Live free or die.
Live free or die. Yes, it's rowdy.
Maybe Graham can put the flag in there.
Yeah, we'll have some. Yeah, Graham will interject some fun photos. But yeah, live free or die in New Hampshire. Big town, small town.
Small town.
See, big life in a small town. You fit right in.
Perfect. How many people do you know what the population is?
Off the top of my head, no, I'd say maybe 1,000 max.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
honestly,
That is small.
Wow, that is really small.
it could be a lot more, but I'm just not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more than 20 and less than 50,000.
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
Did you grow up in the suburbs? Did you guys live in the downtown area? Did you have a farm?
It's more of just a rural area. So the place I grew up in, from like 5 on, it's just like a neighborhood where you're literally surrounded by trees, but the neighbors are still like a stone throw away.
Oh, wow.
So there's still privacy, but you're still in a neighborhood.
Okay. I like that. Did you like run the streets with friends?
Oh yeah, I would bike to my friend's house, who was actually about 4 or 5 miles away.
Oh, wow.
He was also homeschooled.
Oh,
So would he bike to
another
your place too?
homeschooler. Yeah, get
We
used
love
to it.
homeschoolers,
Oh, I know.
right?
I know.
Because you know that we homeschooled the girls, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys would find each other on your bikes.
Yeah, I actually hang out with his house a lot, up to the point where certain times my parents would just call and be like, "You still have our kid, right?"
Like days on end, that kind of thing.
Yeah. He's like, "He's still alive?" I was like, "Yeah, he's fine."
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So did you graduate from homeschool? Okay.
Well, I guess
High school?
technically yes, but never got a diploma.
Okay, got it. And that's amazing.
Wait a minute. How do you not get a diploma and then you go to undergrad? Where'd you do your undergrad?
I did my undergrad at a community college first, at New Hampshire's Technical Institute.
Yep.
Just to get my associates, just get my foot in the door of like shifting gears from
Yeah.
being at home to actually taking classes, doing all that.
Got it.
So my parents were actually pretty shocked that I did super well.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I've only known you for a very short amount of time, and it doesn't shock me at all that you would do really well.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
If you knew me when I was still being homeschooled, you'd say the same.
Really? So why? What
'Cause
was it?
I'm a big procrastinator. And without a deadline, I never did my work.
Ooh. Did your teacher get mad?
My mom, yeah. Although at some points she just kind of just like gave up because after 3 others, she was just like, you're on your own pretty much. I just taught myself for the most part.
So what's the birth order for you? Where are you in the birth order?
I'm the
He's
youngest.
the baby. Okay, got it. So she'd already taken care of 3, graduated.
We had
3.
that same conversation with one of our kids in the practice today. Do you remember this?
Vaguely.
Yeah. No, he was, because he's doing some community college work as well. He's a high school student. He's homeschooled. I'm not going to drop his name on here, but he was the one, he was kind of complaining. He's like, if I don't have a deadline or a timeline, I have a hard time getting all my work done.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that now.
Yeah. And he's homeschooled. Same problem you got. Highly analytical, brilliant kid, but he needs some guidelines to like get the job done. Because he said his college work, he gets it done because there's a deadline. You got to have it done.
So it hasn't been a
homeschool-
problem for him, just like it wasn't a problem for you, Andrew. Once you knew that you had a deadline.
Once I knew I had to get it done,
Yeah,
I got it done.
you did good. Yeah. And so how many years were you there?
Just 2.
Okay. And then from there, where do you go from there?
So after I finished my associates, I went to Rochester's Institute of Technology
Okay.
over in Rochester, New York
Okay.
to finish my bachelor's.
Gotcha.
And
So
finished with a bachelor's in.
Nutritional science.
Got it.
did you know at that point you were going to be a chiropractor?
Probably my first semester at NHTI. Going through the YouTube rabbit hole. Saw a very specific chiropractic video, how he changed someone's life. I was like, that's what I'm going to do.
Wow. Do you know what video it was?
It was a Gonstead chiropractor from Australia, I'm pretty sure. Where
There are
this
so
guy,
many bizarro chiropractic videos. Man, you had to wade through a lot of garbage videos to find one that actually stuck
Oh yeah,
in a good way.
yeah.
But you watched it and it was in a class that you watched this video?
Nope, just in my free time.
Oh, just almost random?
If you believe in random.
If you believe in random, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ever since my mom literally dragged me to my first cross country practice in high school,
Yeah.
that was probably God's leading point for me to take on that journey. Because that's when I really started to focus on health
Okay.
and really enjoy health like topics. So it just went from there to nutrition to then making that my stepping stone to get to where I am now.
Interesting. So were you going to a chiropractor as a child?
For a very short amount of time,
Okay.
although he wasn't exactly philosophically based, or if he was, never really explained. Or if he did, I was too young to like care
Yeah.
at
It
the time.
didn't stick.
Yeah. Just make me feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually one of those kids that actually really enjoyed just cracking my own neck.
Oh,
So when he did do that,
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed it.
okay.
But I learned now that's not so good.
Do you want to tell our viewers and listeners why that's not a good idea? Because I see a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Actually, when we were out at Palmer,
Pretty
I
common.
was watching them do it.
Yeah. It's because it's not actually taking care of the main issue. Because if it did, it would go away.
Yeah.
It's only just making a compensation just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Or it's
So
just,
there's a difference between corrective care and palliative care.
yes.
There's a difference between restoration and rearranging.
Oh,
And so-
restoration and rearranging. I love that.
Kind of what we focus on with what we're learning. And what he's learning, what we do is more restoration, not just rearranging and then hoping for the best. So there's,
So you were rearranging in the past.
Yes.
yeah, super common. We see it every day.
Yeah, for sure. And so the nutrition part, I'm really curious how, did you find that if you were eating better, you ran better? You did better in your meets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, being in cross country, long distance, you're really just focused on getting the energy you need to last the 3 miles or so
Yeah.
And not dying.
and not die.
Not
Yeah.
dying. That's huge.
So it's a 3-mile run. Is that the way?
Yep, it's a 5K, so it's 3.1 miles.
Okay, got it. How often did you run? Like, did you do that every weekend?
In high school, there's about at least one race, maybe two every week as soon as we got into the season.
1 or 2 every week? Oh, wow.
But usually just about one.
What's your fastest time?
Oh, I got that down to 16:50, something like that.
That's
3 miles.
impressive to me.
That's a 5-minute
Because
mile.
I know how long it would.
Yeah, I think it was about a 5:40 minute mile,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
something like that.
Yeah.
And you didn't die.
I didn't.
This is good.
Yeah, that's
Very
fantastic.
good.
If you asked me to do that now, I would die.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Well, you probably wouldn't die, but it would be
If
very
I had to run
taxing
3
on your
miles, I don't
body.
know. It would take 15 days, not
That's the
15
way I'm
minutes.
feeling. It's like, okay, we'll go for a couple and stop. So what is your replenishment drink after a race?
oh, during the time, it would be chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit beforehand about raw milk or conventional milk or organic milk. What's your top choice?
Top choice now is raw milk.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird when you know the difference between what foods are good, what foods are not? We touched on this an episode or 2 ago.
Yeah.
Like, what's our food supply doing to our health? And when you realize the truth, how like raw milk has been vilified. Don't drink raw milk; it's disastrous. It's dangerous.
Right.
But drink this chocolate milk. This chocolate milk comes from chocolate cows, and they're special. And so you'll be okay with it. The sugar content is off the hizzle, and it'll be awesome. But yeah, the food industry has been kind of fictionalizing things for a while. And maybe, well, with your associates in nutrition, how does that apply to what you're learning now with your chiropractic education? Is there overlap, or is it contradictory, or is there any connection whatsoever?
I mean, it's all preventative healthcare, so it does factor in.
Yes. In other words, you are what you eat. Actually, you are what you eat, digest, and metabolize, right? So there's a difference between the body by Pillsbury and the body by fruits and veggies or whatever else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that you'll use the application of nutrition in whatever practice you go in? Do you think that that'll be kind of a sideline for you too? Or do you think that you'll focus primarily on the adjustment?
I'd probably just focus on the adjustment, just because, one, it's been a while since I've gone through that information.
Yeah.
And 2, I'd rather send them to someone
Gotcha.
that actually knows what they're doing a little bit more than me.
That's their thing, right? Their
Yeah,
specialty.
exactly.
Yeah.
You can get health advice lots and lots of places.
Oh, my
you can
goodness.
get dietary advice lots and lots of places. You cannot get corrective spinal care lots and lots of places. So yeah, it's important to kind of know your lane sometimes. Yep.
And so what college are you going to now?
I'm going to Sherman College
And that is?
in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Yeah. I was just talking to Cindy earlier today. You know it, right? Cindy?
Oh, yeah, I just finished my last class with her this past quarter.
Okay.
Good. She's actually, for the ACP class, she's going to be teaching that for you.
Oh, stop.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yes, if I was going to be down there, she's going to let me sit in.
Oh man.
So you better behave.
Apparently.
Yeah. She's amazing. Her and Heath are both amazing. And it just seems like the faculty, all of them are so committed to you guys' success and really providing a place where you can learn all the philosophical things that you were talking about prior to that. Are you feeling that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can definitely, because I've been to a few other schools, at least met a few other students from a few other different schools, and I can definitely tell that Sherman is the most philosophically based school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not on the other students' discredit.
No,
it's
of
just
course not. Yeah. Why do you feel like that's an important part of your education?
if you don't know your why are you doing it?
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
the what's not that hard. The why is super important. Learning the what's not that hard, but learning the why is
That was a great answer.
the thing.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So as someone passionate about health and wellness, what do you believe is the most important thing people should know about maintaining their well-being?
What people should know?
Like
Well,
what would you want them to know?
Well, for one, get your spine checked
Why?
because your nervous system controls everything. Or I guess your brain controls everything is a better way to put it.
Okay. Okay. This is good for people to know. Well, is the spine more important than the nutrition?
No, that's all just like one big circle
Okay.
of things we need to focus on for our overall maintaining of our health.
Okay.
Are you going to give them the example of if you were on the table and had no breath left in your body?
Well, I always ask people to put these 4 things in the order of importance.
This is a lay lecture talk.
Well, now, air, water, food, and mental impulses. Air, water, food, mental impulses. Put them in the order of importance or vitality.
I feel like this is an unfair question because I know the answer.
I know. But you know what? It's amazing how many people don't.
Well, maybe they don't understand the mental impulses part of it.
Okay.
You know, like it sounds a little vague. So they're thinking about
How about
breathing.
brain signals? If we say brain signals, can they latch onto that?
Maybe.
Or nerve signals? Or
Yeah, nerve signals maybe.
Here's a weird thing. What separates live people from dead people? Nerve signals.
A working nerve
Yeah.
system.
Yeah. So you can
Right.
give a dead guy clean air,
Right.
fresh food,
Yeah.
great water, but he'd still be dead.
Right.
So the goal is,
Yeah.
let's make sure your nerve system's clean and clear and happy, and then you can metabolize air and water and food.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Here's a weird thing. Growing up in New Hampshire and being homeschooled, how do you feel like homeschooling may have shaped your path toward chiropractic?
Just already being in that more holistic mindset.
Okay.
Because
And you strike me as a curious person. Like you're some people want to know like how a watch works. What makes this watch work? And then there's a difference between the person who's curious and the person who's like going to take the watch apart and actually figure out what makes the watch really work.
Would you
Give
take
us
the
a-
watch apart?
yeah, I mean, if it stopped working, I would
Yeah.
take it apart, figure out why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You already
he's-
knew that about him, didn't you?
Here's a weird thing. Have you ever built a computer by yourself?
Yep.
Yes, I knew that. And that's why I asked. So yeah, you're the analytical guy who is going to figure out not just how to make things work, but why they work and what makes it tick and what makes it go, which is going to make you valuable in the chiropractic realm. Do you see yourself doing research, like chiropractic research someday?
Maybe. But honestly, like just taking care of people more. Like
Okay.
if I can give the results to someone that actually likes writing the research paper, I would much rather do that.
Got it.
But actually
like
writing the paper,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Not so much. That's where procrastination kicks in.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that you might have a slight amount of ADHD.
Probably.
Do you think that really?
I mean, if anything, it's just because I have a short attention span to some things.
Yeah.
Like my attention will shift from one thing to another.
If it's boring, it's easy to shift away from it. If it's not keeping your mind entertained. But how is this little bit of ADHD maybe gonna is it gonna help or hinder you when you're working with people in a clinic?
I would think it would help.
I do too. Because I've never been diagnosed, but guess what?
I mean, I haven't
I think
either.
we all have. If you don't have a little bit of attention challenge going on, how much fun can you possibly have?
Exactly.
So one of his claims to fame is knowing the principal on a first name basis when he was in elementary school.
Oh yeah.
He spent a lot of time in the principal's office and in the hallway, right, babe?
Just getting to know people. I was more social. It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing at all.
Right.
I was fascinated by the variety of topics that you are interested in, like baking and health and computers and your faith. And how do you balance them all as you're going through school? Do you bake at home now when in your apartment, and do you computer things and still go to school and keep up your grades?
I mean, the computer thing was honestly just like a phase that I had,
Okay.
which is why I built one, so I can learn how to build one. And then I did. And that phase kind of ended.
Next.
Gotcha.
Then this next thing moved on.
Yeah. No, that makes sense because you kind of conquered it.
A little bit.
Yeah.
There's still a lot more I wanted to do with it.
You still
think
have
I
that
wa-
computer?
Yep.
Really? So when did you build it?
Maybe 5 years ago.
Oh, so it's still very usable.
Yeah.
Is it at school with you? Nice. That's
Yep.
impressive. Is it a regular desktop variety or is it a laptop?
It's a desktop.
There's a place in town here called Viral, and our youngest grandson, Noble, he had been taking courses there. He built a keyboard, and then he also was part of a group that built a computer too. He loved it. It was so neat. They do gaming at this place as well. So for him, it was like he was very interested in knowing, similar to what you're saying, how does it work? And the only way to know it was to take it apart and see how it was put together. So it's a cool little place.
But there's no wrong. Well, another computer building, I would think, is very black and white. Like all the parts got to go exactly right.
Probably like a watch.
Yes. Baking, not so much. Baking gives you a little more variety. There's a little more flair. There's a little less. There's no wrong answers in baking, really. Am I right?
What do you think? I know my thoughts.
Well, I've learned how to guesstimate my measurements
Yes.
just because I've done it for a while.
Right.
But I know you have to be very precise with most of them, especially
Okay.
when you do certain things like a bread
Yep.
most of the time.
Yeah.
I still have yet to get a bread down most of the time.
Yeah.
All right.
I've only done like
okay,
one or
so
two
I guess
things.
I can see where I might be wrong about that. There is
Yeah, because if you have too
precision.
much leavening or not enough salt or too much water or
Wrong
no
temperature,
egg.
wrong
Yes, exactly.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's
So it's
chemistry.
not like building a computer.
Chemistry, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I see it.
All right. I think of it bread making or baking as more artistic than.
Well, it does have.
But there
that
is science
component to it too. But that's after you're about to put it in the oven.
All right.
That's when you can be artistic.
All right, fine.
Sourdough
fine.
bread. Are you a sourdough bread guy?
I like it, but can
Yeah.
I make it? No.
Do you have a starter? Do you want me to get a starter for you?
Sure.
I can start one and I don't have one currently going, so I will make one, and next time we see you, I'll send it down with Terry when he comes down in October.
Perfect.
You have to take care of it though. It's like a little baby.
Yeah. I'll get right on that. I'll get right on that. Talk about how your faith
Yeah.
might connect to your career in chiropractic.
Well, I might be the vessel for the healing, but it's really God doing the healing through me.
How old were you when you figured out who God is? How'd you get introduced?
Well, my family is Christian, so
Yes.
I've been going to church practically my whole life.
Yes?
But it was only quite recently where I actually accepted Jesus into my life
Yes?
because I realized just how important that is. And as a kid, I was just sitting in church just thinking to myself, this is boring. Never really understood the why or the what.
Like getting drugged
Aspect
to
of it.
cross country.
Yeah.
Like you will come and you will enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a lot like that. But
But it was a foundation.
yeah, that was the foundation. But then it finally got building up into something now.
That's amazing.
More of a relationship than an obligation. Yeah, nice. Good on you. How's that going to cross over when you're talking to people about health and wellness, though?
Well, there's a spiritual aspect to your health and wellness. And if that isn't right, then that can affect your other aspects eventually. Sure, can you live without it? Possibly. But can it be better with it? Absolutely.
Nice. That's a good answer. Can you live without it? Yes. Not as long and not as well. Because it is a spoke in the wheel. We think about it as like if your health was a wheel, there's a spiritual spoke, there's a social spoke, there's a family spoke, there's a finance spoke. There are things that affect your overall well-being. And to neglect the spiritual spoke is to your disadvantage in so many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really good answer.
Yeah, that is a good answer.
It's a big part of your integrative practice for sure.
It's part of what we want to know about people. One of the first 5 questions I will ask somebody who's new to us is, "Where are you with God?" And you get lots of different answers, right? And I don't have to have you. They don't have to give me the answer that I have.
No, you just
But you got to know where they're starting from. And if people don't have any kind of a spiritual foundation, it's we just start with intelligence. Like, can we agree that the universe is a really intelligent place? Like birds always know which way is south for the winter, and apple seeds can only turn into apple trees. You can't plant apple seeds and get oranges or corn or anything else. The intelligence in the seed is a reflection of the intelligence in the universe. And whether you think that came from a big explosion a billion years ago, or whether you think that came from a loving creator who knows every hair on your head, may not be germane at the moment, but it's going to probably become more germane as you get clear, as your nerve system gets happier, and as your understanding of how the universe is wired gets better. It's
how you
nice
work
to be able to introduce people to how they got here. And their purpose on the planet is going to be wrapped into that as well.
And you've always thought of this building as almost like a church. It's your ministry.
Well, it's not our building. It's God's building. We just get to work in it.
Right.
Right. And so, yeah, we don't have to own anything. We just get to come here and serve every day and
Yeah.
watch things change. It's kind of nice.
Not taking the blame and not taking the credit, right?
Well, no, I'll take plenty of blame.
For what?
Well, if things go wrong, I got to step back and say, what do I need to change?
Yeah. Well, that's good.
But
always
at the
nice
end of
to
the day, yeah,
reevaluate.
we don't do the healing. We just get to be the facilitator or the unlocker of interference at some point.
Yeah.
But
So, since you love to bake, do you also love to cook? Do you
Just-
have a signature dish that you like to bring to family dinners?
don't say cream spinach. You will be asked to leave.
Why are you? Did you guys talk about
that's-
this already?
No, just don't say it. Pick something else.
Okay, my second option. No, I'd probably do baked ziti.
Oh, yeah.
nice.
Nice.
That'd probably be my first go-to, or maybe lasagna,
Yeah.
just because you can make a lot of it, and usually everybody likes it.
Right. Crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good answer, too. Let's talk about your significant other. Oh, let's don't.
No, don't have one yet.
Were you doing that on purpose?
Maybe. Not yet. Not
This
yet.
gives you freedom to be on your own walk for now and set your own pace
Yep.
according to how God is orchestrating this for you, right? Yeah. It's
Yeah.
more complicated when there's more people's opinions.
Yeah, that's
People
true.
complicate everything.
Take into
They do.
consideration.
You want to complicate stuff? Add more people. It gets very complicated.
Let's see.
What else? Well, you worked in a chiropractic practice.
Yeah,
though.
that's what I wanted
Before
to
you
know a little bit
decided,
about
did
that.
you work in the office before you decided to go to chiropractic school, or did you decide to take a job in a chiropractic office because you were going to go to chiropractic school?
The latter.
Okay.
Kind of get a feel for what that was like.
Yeah, get a feel for it and to be almost absolutely certain that it was something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you can tell from where I am now,
Right.
it was the right decision.
Helps seal the
Solidified.
deal. And in that practice, because every practice has 4 people in it. We've talked about this, I think. Somebody's got to own it. Somebody's got to manage it. And somebody's got to market for it. And then somebody's got to actually do the work, the chiropractic work. Do you see yourself, how do you see yourself fitting? Now that you've worked in an office, you know that there's behind the scenes stuff that has to happen. You know that there's, bills that got to be paid and staff that's got to be hired. And so there's the whole being a boss, and then there's the being an employee, or there's being an associate versus being an owner. Where do you see yourself? I'm going to graduate in a year, and I want to do what?
I would like to eventually open up my own office, or at least have my own office at some
Yes.
point. However, I think it could still be beneficial to work with someone, to mentor with someone for a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm still letting God kind of let that figure out for me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if you would just like shoot a text down and say, hey, I need you to go do this, and I need you to do it here
In this
and
town with
now.
these people,
Yes.
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 I wish it'd be that simple.
Yeah, it would be so nice. So nice.
Yeah.
Where do you, like in the dream practice, where do you see your practice? Is it near an ocean? Is it in the mountains? Is it near the desert? Where do you, like in a perfect world, where would he put you?
Probably in the mountains,
Yeah.
New Hampshire? New England mountains?
maybe. I know there's a lot of mountains
Yeah.
everywhere,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely used to the New Hampshire mountains.
Yes.
So that would be nice.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's where he wants me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Just
So you're-
waiting.
Yep.
If you get the
Staying open.
text, I want you to forward me the contact. So I have access.
Share contact.
noted.
It's hard. It is hard to know because we all have our desired outcome. Like, I think here's what I want. And the question is that what he wants for me? Which is a very different conversation. When we built this building, we talked about this today at lunch. You know, I felt like we were being called to make this building happen. We were in a practice that was very, very different compared to the one we're in currently. But yeah, I feel like we were kind of called to make some change, and it was terrifying. Like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Because we don't know how to do this. We don't know how this is going to work.
Yeah.
And it wasn't stress-free, was it?
Actually, it could have been more stressful.
How?
I like to think of it that way. Because the contractors that we worked with came in ahead of time and under budget.
Right.
And I feel like they, in a very stressful time, because we had a lot of other things,
had a
really
lot going
horrific things that had happened that year.
Right.
And I feel like God gave us the perfect team to
Yeah.
keep that moving forward.
But you're right.
without
It
us.
was ahead of time, and it was under budget.
Yeah. So, yes, that's over.
So what he knows and what we know don't always match.
Right, exactly. And I think if you hadn't taken those steps in faith,
So scary.
yeah.
Good Lord, it was scary.
But can you imagine if you didn't? Like, he has been able to bless that for you. Just that obedience.
And through that, lots of other people.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating experience.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it lets us hang around another 30 years.
Right. Anything else you'd like to share, Andrew, about your journey at school, about your own chiropractic experience? Anything that you see about your future?
Well, I can't see my future. I wish I could, but let's see. Things about school is that it's not what you get, but what you give. So I've definitely put a lot of time into extracurricular things, whether that be helping in clubs, joining the student government, being a treasurer of the chapter of my fraternity.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're very active outside of the academic part.
Yes. If it was just the academics, it'd be totally fine.
Yeah.
I'd be rolling right on through and be completely fine.
Yeah.
But because I'm so busy, I can actually only focus on the things that keep me busy instead of doing other random things that are a waste of my time.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that because you could be playing video games, right? And instead you're committing to making your experience there the best it can be. Yeah. I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah, and I love actually teaching too. So I'm actually also a tutor.
Okay.
So after I'm done with the other extracurricular events,
Yeah.
I can then potentially mentor the people coming in. So I can at least help them and show them like what to do instead of like having them figure it out on their own.
Right. Is this where your ADHD comes in handy?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Because you can kind of flip around, right?
Yeah. But that's also where the procrastination doesn't come in handy.
Well, you can always get to it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no reason to do today what you can put off till tomorrow.
We have very different opinions about that.
Yeah. I'll get to it.
I know
You don't have to keep reminding me every 6 months. If I said I'll do it, I'll get to it.
every 6 months. We've 38 years of figuring it out.
We
It's totally
manage.
fine.
You haven't killed me in my sleep. We get by.
Okay. Anything else that you would like to add to this conversation, babe?
No, my word, no. Nothing.
Anything else that you would like to add to this conversation, Andrew?
Not at this time.
It was great having you on here.
We're gonna actually.
I'm very excited for
You'll
you
get a
and
little
your journey.
poster. You'll get a little thing where you can put this in the house, at the fraternity, or on campus somewhere, and everybody at Sherman is going to know that you're on here. They can hit a QR code, and it will take them straight to your episode.
Oh, perfect.
So do you want to say hi to Dr. Borla? Any instructors that you want to shout out? Brownie points, anything like that?
Sherman.
You're the only chiropractic student we've ever had on the podcast.
That is
This is
true.
episode number 40, by the way. Did you know that?
Yep.
So by the end of the year,
By the end of the year, what?
well, we'll hit the magic 50. The magic, we will be.
Oh, yeah. We'll be
Like-
over 50. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
No,
But you're the
it's-
only
it's-
chiropractic student.
Yeah,
so
it's been
far.
super fun. Yeah. And because of that, I really feel like people should, subscribe, like, and follow?
You see how she just kind of snuck that in there? That's how we wrap
You guys-
everything up.
yeah, you
When
guys
you hear the
know.
word subscribe, like, and follow, the end is near, people. So, yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank
See
you.
you next time.
Bye.
Yeah, everybody will be tuning in on the Sherman campus and they'll be like, oh my gosh, that guy's a knucklehead. But I'm glad Andrew was on there.